Okay. Hi, Motez. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. As we were just talking about before we got on, you are in London, and that's why it's already dark. You've got a book out called Athletes Who Rock, and I was intrigued by the title because, as I mentioned, I'm a musician, but certainly not an athlete. And when I was in school, in high school, there's all those little cliques of people. The musicians and the jocks were never together. I was, at the time I was growing up, it was the long hair, dabbling in marijuana and psychedelic t shirts and things like that, listening to rock and roll music. But your book is a compilation of athletes who are also musicians, is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. I'll start by showing you a
Yeah, let's
cover of
see
the
it.
book.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a collection of interviews, personal, deep, in-depth, deep personal interviews with 15 very high-level professional athletes who cross over into becoming excellent musicians, and vice versa. I have a couple of examples of people who started off as musicians and then crossed over and became athletes and sort of have done both. But I'm talking at the highest skill level. So somebody like a Bernie Williams, the New York Yankees legend, won 4 World Series, has his number retired by the greatest team in Major League Baseball. No offense to you, being from Boston, um, but somebody like that has left his legacy in sports. But he is also more than just a proficient musician. He is at the top of the professional game when it comes to being a jazz guitarist. Bernie grew up in Puerto Rico, going to a high school for the performing arts. So from a very young age, he was educated in music. And while he was playing minor league baseball with the Yankees, he kept honing his guitar skills all the way up until the majors. He released a jazz album. And then when he graduated, when he eventually retired from the Yankees after a 16-year career with them, he enrolled in the Manhattan School of Music and graduated formally with a bachelor's degree in musicology. And he has 2 bands right now, and has released a few albums, has been nominated for a Latin Grammy. So this is what I mean. I mean, somebody like Bernie Williams is just at the top of his game in both these highly, highly competitive fields.
Well, that's what I find intriguing about it because, a lot of people can play baseball and a lot of people can play a guitar, but very few people can do both well. And in fact, very few people can do one well. So when I see something like that, I'm kind of intrigued that he could pursue baseball because obviously it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, and a bit of luck to even get to the major leagues, right?
Right. Yeah, to get noticed.
To get
Absolutely.
noticed. I mean, it's as difficult as it is to become a rock star or a noticed musician or an actor who is, working and not eating cat food. It just amazed me that he could do both, that he got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up a Yankees fan, so I was aware of Bernie's story from a young age. But what I didn't know until I interviewed him is that Bernie actually was a straight A student. He had a 4.0, and his mom was a high school principal in Puerto Rico, and she never saw baseball as a serious career. So his mom really encouraged him to take the board exams for medical school because she wanted him to be a doctor. And Bernie passed the medical school board exams. And without him knowing, when he entered the minor leagues after graduating high school at age 17, she enrolled him in medical school in Puerto Rico. And for 3 semesters, he would come back and study and do exams in the off season of baseball. So he was actually in medical school while he was playing baseball. And finally, about a year and a half into his minor league baseball career, he went to the dean of the medical and said, "Look, I can't do these too highly demanding things at the top level that are required to advance, and so I have to give up one of them." And the dean of the medicals said, basically, look, if this baseball thing doesn't work out for you, the door's open for you to come back. And he was like, great. And so, theoretically, he could have been a doctor too. I mean, these people are all extremely multi-talented, and they have the drive and determination to stick with these skill sets that require a lot of hours and hours of fine tuning your skills, and you would know being a professional pianist.
Well, yeah, but an athlete would be a joke for me. I mean, if you look at my videos, I'm not running in the Boston Marathon anytime soon. And it just amazed me that somebody like that, it sounds like he could probably do anything he wanted.
Yeah.
Anything he
Yeah,
put his mind to, he could do it. Yeah.
exactly. And I found that with virtually all of my subjects here. They weren't just good in music and sports. They were pretty much good at everything they set their mind to. I mean, former NBA great Ronnie Cycli, who was a big star at Syracuse University. He has his number retired at Syracuse, actually. He's not just a house music DJ. I'm sure he DJs in Las Vegas as well as Miami, Dubai, Beirut, all over the world. He's an in-demand DJ. Obviously, he was an incredible basketball player, but he's also a big real estate developer in Miami. He develops beautiful luxury homes. He was a restaurateur for a while. So, another interviewee, Ray Barbie, who's a skateboarding legend. He was one of the legends of street skateboarding in Northern California in the late 80s. He's also an extremely proficient photographer. He carries a Leica camera everywhere he goes. He's sponsored by Leica, and he has photography books out. He's also an incredible guitarist himself with more than 10 instrumental albums. So yeah, that was something that really opened my eyes. Kyle Turley, the former New Orleans Saints offensive lineman, has his own CBD business, and he's a country music singer in Nashville. So, the list goes on and on and on. But you're right, absolutely. These people didn't really confine themselves to either sports or music or both. They broadened their horizons into multiple, facets of business and other disciplines.
So what about you? How did you get involved in this book? Are you an athlete and or musician as well?
Sure. Yeah. I'll tell you a story. So I played JV and varsity basketball in high school, and I was never a starter. I mean, I played, but I have fond memories. But I was never like a star on the team. I never was able to say, oh, I could perhaps play college basketball. I just don't have the genes for it. I'm 6'3", but I just don't have the genes to play at a very high level. And in music, I grew up playing trumpet. Uh, and like you said, I mean, I was kind of one of the band geeks until after 10th grade. I was like, well, I'm kind of a little bit bored, and I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't have the discipline to keep going at trumpet. I kind of wish I did. Over the last 10 years, I picked up guitar and now keyboards and piano as of late. But I it always struck me as being inconceivable that I could be perhaps some a rock star like a Bon Jovi or Prince or somebody like that, and also be an incredibly talented baseball player like my idols growing up, like Reggie Jackson and Dave Winfield and these guys. So the fact that I stumbled upon people like Bernie Williams and former NBA great Wayman Tisdale, when I was in my high school dorm at Boston University, I was watching an NBA game, and I remember the announcer talking about Wayman Tisdale, and he was a 20-point scorer back in the day, and he was talking about how he's a professional jazz musician, had his own jazz band, and I just thought that is my dream, to be able to be an NBA player and have my own band at the same time. So that opened my eyes, and I was always from that point on really on the lookout, scouting people mentally for the rare specimens in the world who could do both at a very high level and take it seriously.
So is writing your primary career at this point?
It is absolutely. Funny enough, I used to be like a Wall Street investor for years, and I switched careers myself. And about 10 years ago, I went to journalism school, and I took the plunge. I decided to be poor for a living, which I've become very good at. So I write books, and I'm a freelance features writer for CNN, ESPN, The Guardian, and other news organizations. And recently, I've also undertaken a Ph.D. In sports sociology. So I'm also a Ph.D. candidate at the University of Leicester here in the UK.
Oh, well, great. So is this your first book?
No, actually, this is my third book. My first book I wrote in 2013. It's called Beating the NBA, Tales from a Frugal Fan. And it's effectively a first-person how-to guide onto how to get the best deals going into your favorite live sporting events or music events by haggling with ticket scalpers outside of arenas. So if you want to watch the Lakers play, or if you want to see your favorite show, Elton John or somebody like that in Las Vegas, Neil Young, it was a how-to guide on how to show up at the right time, how to time it right, how to investigate the market correctly, and come away with maybe paying 50% or less on the face value of the ticket. So I went to every NBA arena in the States and tried my luck, and in the end, came out paying about half the price of the face value in total.
Well, that sounds strange because I thought scalpers were trying to get more than face value on tickets.
If they can, yeah, but often
If
they
they
only
can.
pay about 10% of face value, because most people can't be bothered. Often, somebody's girlfriend or wife is sick, and they have they've got a ticket in their hand, they don't know what to do with it, and a guy just offers them something at the door, and they'll just part with the ticket for very little, and that's how these scalpers make their money. So knowing that, you can usually pay a lot less, and the scalper still comes out on top.
All right. Well, we do have to kind of wind this down. How long has your book been out? Athletes Who Rock.
It was released February 22nd, 2/22/22. So
Okay.
good omen.
So just a couple
And
months, yeah.
yeah, I have some really wonderful interviews here. It's also very image heavy. So, this is some people rocking out at Ronnie Cycli's gig. Some of the other notable interviews I've got here are Damian Lillard, Portland Trailblazers great and future Hall of Famer, Yannick Noah, the tennis Hall of Famer, some amazing footballers, as we say here in the UK, soccer players, and legends in all different venues. Daniela Hachikova, who's a doubles winner in all the Grand Slams. Kyle Turley, as I mentioned. Yeah, just people from all different walks of life in different sports. Bronson Arroyo, former Red Sox great, World Series winner with the Red Sox. Wonderful interview with him. I went and interviewed him in his home outside of Cincinnati and watched him rehearse, and just a great guy. Just really all very deep interviews where people talk about different conflicts and roadblocks they've had in their lives and how they've overcome it on the path to success.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It was nice talking to you. Do you have a website you want to give out?
Sure. It's my first name and last name, Motez Bishara, MotezBishara.com. You'll find info on all my books, different features I've written for many different publications, and yeah, hopefully you'll get a lot out of it there. Obviously, it's also got links on where to purchase these babies to Amazon or any big book retailer.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you, and best of luck with